Have you ever found yourself locked in an invisible battle with life itself? As if you're caught in a relentless, soul-crushing arm wrestle with the universe straining, pushing, grasping with every ounce of your will, only to feel life push back harder, colder, more unyielding than ever before? Have you felt that heartbreaking paradox? The more desperately you try to mend the cracks, breathe life back into a fading connection, or force a fragile dream into existence, the faster it crumbles, the further it slips away, and with each failed attempt, you're left clutching at air, fists bruised from trying to hold on to what was never meant to be forced. But hear me, soul to soul, this is not your failure. This is not weakness. This is a sacred message encoded in the very fabric of existence, a divine intervention disguised as resistance. It is life itself whispering to you, there is another way. And if these words stir something deep within you, if you know the exhaustion of screaming into a silent void, know this: you are not alone. You've been led here to this very moment because your soul is ready to hear the truth it has always known, but was too weary to remember. This is your invitation to awaken, not just intellectually, but energetically. The heaviness you've carried, the walls you keep slamming into, the heartbreak of watching your deepest desires dance just beyond your reach, this is not punishment. It is the universal law of resistance in action. A divine feedback loop, not designed to break you, but to redirect you. Life is not trying to shut you out, it is trying to pull you back into alignment with your truest power, the effortless power that doesn't demand, doesn't wrestle, but magnetizes. So if you've ever felt yourself pushing, pleading, bargaining with the universe, aching for something to finally give pause, breathe. This message has found you for a reason. You are meant to hear this now. And if this lands in your spirit, if something in your bones says, yes, this is me, then declare it in the comments. I resonate with this, or anchor this truth with 777. Let yourself be seen. Let your soul know it's time to stop pushing. It's time to remember. We are born into a world that worships force. From the moment we arrive, we are indoctrinated into a belief system, a gospel of struggle, a religion of the grind. We are taught that success is a beast to be hunted, that love is something to be earned, that peace is a reward for those who suffer hardest and longest. Every institution, every cultural script whispers the same lie. If you just push harder, control tighter, sacrifice more, you'll finally get there. But what if this is the grandest illusion of all? What if the very act of forcing is the barrier itself, the friction that clouds your path, the static that distorts your signal, the fog that blinds you to the openings life is constantly offering? What if your tight grip, your clenched jaw, your white-knuckle determination are the very things suffocating the miracles trying to find you? Imagine trying to hold water in your hand. The instinct of force tells you to squeeze tighter, to grip harder, terrified of losing even a drop. But what happens? The water escapes. The harder you clutch, the faster it slips through your fingers, leaving nothing but ache and emptiness. Now imagine softening your palm, creating a gentle, open vessel. In that softness, in that surrender, the water stays, it nourishes, it remains. This is the art of allowing. Yet we've been programmed to fear surrender as if to yield is to lose. We equate stillness with weakness, receptivity with passivity. But look to nature. The tallest trees don't grow by straining, they rise by rooting deeper into the earth's quiet wisdom. They grow by aligning with life, not by battling against it. The real resistance you face is not some cruel twist of fate, is the tension you carry within, the war you've unknowingly declared on the natural flow that is forever trying to guide you home. Resistance isn't just frustration or a mental block, it is an energy, a frequency, a vibration that you unconsciously emit when you operate from force and control. Every time you push, micromanage, or obsess, you're sending a signal to the universe that says, I don't trust you, I don't trust your timing. I don't trust that I'm worthy unless I fight for it. And in response, the universe mirrors that very frequency back to you. Scarcity, separation, struggle. It's not life withholding your blessings, it's your own contracted energy blocking the flow. Imagine life as a great, majestic river. You are the vessel designed to glide effortlessly with its current. But when you insist on forcing, you turn your boat upstream, paddling against the very flow meant to carry you. You exhaust yourself, confuse yourself, blame life for your stagnation when in truth, the river has always known the way. Every attempt to force an outcome is a stone in the dam. you unknowingly build blocking the grace, the synchronicities, the divine timing that were already moving toward you. So, what is the divine, powerful, and liberating alternative to this exhausting cycle of struggle? It is the sacred and ancient art of allowing. It is the conscious, daily practice of cultivating a deep, radical, and unshakable trust in the intelligence of life itself. Energy, the very lifeblood of our cosmos, the animating force behind every star and every blade of grass, does not and cannot move through the constricted channels of pressure and demand. It moves with breathtaking power and grace through the open gateways of acceptance and surrender. The universe does not respond to your desperate, fearful demands. It responds with overwhelming love and precision to your serene, trusting, and heart-centered alignment. Herein lies the great paradox of creation. The less you try to force your destiny, the more you release your tight grip on the specifics, the more rapidly and elegantly it can flow to you. This is not a call to passivity, apathy, or a resignation to giving up on your sacred dreams. It is a divine invitation to shift from a mindset of frantic, exhausting doing to one of inspired, joyful, and magnetic being. It is the profound journey of understanding that you are a powerful co-creator with the universe, a divine partner in a sacred dance, not a lone, weary soldier fighting a meaningless and solitary battle against it. When you consciously release the ego's desperate need to control every single detail, when you have the courage to let go of the how and the when, you create a powerful, energetic vacuum, sacred and holy space of pure potentiality. And into this sacred, trusting space, the universe, with all its infinite resources and intelligence, rushes to bring you what you desire, often manifesting your dreams in ways that are far more magnificent, joyful, and perfectly aligned than you could have ever orchestrated with your limited, conscious mind. This, my dear soul, is the ultimate act of true power to trust the sacred unfolding, to breathe deeply into the pregnant pause of the present moment, and to allow life, in its infinite wisdom, to reveal its breathtaking magic to you. Feel this profound and tangible difference in your very body, in the sacred temple of your physical form. The energy of resistance has a distinct and undeniable physical signature. It manifests as a suffocating tightness in your chest, a painful knot of anxiety twisting and turning in your stomach, a constantly clenched jaw, a shallow breath held captive and restricted in your throat. It is the rigid, braced posture of a warrior anticipating an impact that never truly comes, because you are unknowingly creating the entire war within your own being. Now, take a moment and imagine the alternative. Truly feel into the sacred, liberating energy of allowing. It begins with a single, deep, conscious exhale, a full and complete release of all the tension, all the worry, all the control that you've been holding onto for so long. It is the tangible, immediate softening of your shoulders as they melt away from your ears, the conscious release of your jaw as you let go of the ingrained need to control every outcome, the sacred opening of your heart space as if to finally receive a long-awaited and deeply treasured gift. This is a frequency of profound, unshakable safety, a deep cellular memory that lovingly whispers to every single part of your being that you are and always have been held, supported, and cherished by a benevolent and intelligent universe. This is not simply a mental shift or a positive affirmation. It is a full-body, soul, deep awakening to your natural, inherent state of grace and flow. Consider the majestic journey of a magnificent, tall-masted ship upon the vast, unpredictable ocean. A novice captain, one who does not understand the fundamental nature of the wind and the sea, will inevitably try to fight against the elements. They will battle the powerful gales, trying to force the ship in a direction the wind does not wish to go, exhausting the crew, straining the rigging, and potentially causing catastrophic damage to the vessel, all while moving painfully, agonizingly slow. But a master captain, a wise soul who is in deep, intuitive alignment with the elements, does not engage in a futile fight with the wind. They feel its power, they respect its direction, they understand its wisdom. They skillfully adjust their sails, not in an attempt to conquer the wind, but to harmoniously harness its immense, free-flowing power. They allow the wind to carry them, to guide them, to joyfully propel them towards their chosen destination, with an elegance, grace, and speed that the struggling captain could never imagine. You, right now, are the master captain of your soul's sacred vessel. The wind is the ever-present, loving flow of divine guidance. The crucial question you must ask yourself is this: are you continuing to fight against this divine wind, or are you finally learning to raise your sails, release the rudder, and trust its loving and intelligent direction? Remember this sacred truth: what you relentlessly and desperately chase out of a state of fear, lack, and anxiety rarely, if ever, stays. Its foundation is built upon the shaky, unstable ground of disbelief and distrust. But what flows to you, effortlessly and joyfully, through a state of profound ease, radical trust, and divine alignment, that is what is truly and eternally yours. That is what lasts. To truly embrace this new way of being, we must have the unwavering courage to journey deep within and look at the very root of this compulsive need to force and control. And almost always, when we trace it back to its source, that root is a profound and often unconscious fear. It is a deep, primal, and ancient fear that if we dare to let go of the reins, even for a moment, everything in our lives will immediately spiral into unbearable chaos and fall irreparably apart. It's the insidious, whispering fear that if we stop trying so desperately, if we cease our constant motion, then absolutely nothing will ever happen for us at all. It is the heartbreaking, deeply ingrained fear that we are somehow not worthy enough to receive our desires without an arduous and painful struggle, the terror that the vast, benevolent universe might somehow forget about us if we become too quiet, too still, too trusting. This foundational fear is what makes us hold on too tightly to people who are not meant for us, to outcomes that are not for our highest good, to rigid, self-imposed timelines that our anxious ego has meticulously and fearfully created. We awaken in the morning, and before our feet even touch the floor, we are already in a state of subtle or overt tension, our minds already racing, strategizing, and attempting to predict and control every aspect of the day ahead, relentlessly pushing our way through the hours with a sense of urgency and strain. But underneath all of that frantic, surface-level activity, there resides a terrified inner child, a vulnerable part of our consciousness who deeply believes they have to do it all alone, that they are solely responsible for orchestrating every detail of their existence. This fear perpetuates the grand, painful illusion that you are somehow separate from the intelligent, loving flow of life, a solitary, fragile ship tossed mercilessly on a chaotic and indifferent sea, when in truth, you are the sea itself. You are the very consciousness that animates the waves and directs the tides. The hardest and most liberating truth, the one that most people will spend their entire lives tragically avoiding, is that what you chase from this contracted energy of fear will, by universal law, always run from you. Why? It is simple, energetic physics. You are energetically and vibrationally repelling the very thing you so desperately desire by constantly vibrating at the frequency of its absence, of its lack, of your fear that it will never come. The very moment you make the conscious, soul-level decision to stop, to take a sacred pause, to breathe, to finally release the white-knuckled, death-like grip you have on your life, a profound and miraculous shift begins to occur. This is not about giving up, it is about giving space. It's the holy act of sacred surrender. And when you create and hold this sacred space, your energy, which was once stagnant and blocked, begins to move in new, miraculous, and unexpected ways. Creative ideas and brilliant solutions that were once hopelessly blocked begin to flood your consciousness with an astonishing clarity. Peace, a long-lost and deeply missed friend, returns to settle into the very marrow of your bones, filling your heart with a warmth you had forgotten was possible. People, the right people, the soul-aligned connections, begin to show up in your life as if by magic. Not because you hunted them down or manipulated circumstances, but because you finally, bravely, stopped running after what was never meant to be yours in the first place. This is the true and lasting transformation, the quantum shift from a desperate paradigm of trying to make things happen to the graceful, empowered reality of learning how to let things happen. This is the sacred journey from the chaotic noise of desperation to the serene symphony of alignment, from the cold prison of fear to the expansive freedom of faith. Letting go of this deep-seated need to force is not always easy, especially when you have been meticulously trained and conditioned your entire life to believe that the illusion of control equals the feeling of safety. The tragic truth is that most people don't even realize they're doing it. They don't see how their constant, anxious need for certainty and control is the very source of their deepest suffering and discontent. Take a moment now to reflect upon the most magical, awe-inspiring, and effortlessly joyful moments of your entire life. Think about the unexpected, serendipitous encounter that forever changed your life's trajectory. Recall the day that was filled with such effortless joy and a cascade of beautiful synchronicities that it felt like a dream. Remember the incredible opportunity that seemed to fall directly into your lap as if it were meticulously crafted by the loving hands of destiny itself. Now, ask yourself honestly, did you have to force any of those sacred moments? Did you have to desperately manipulate a single detail for them to occur? The answer, invariably, is no. They arrived, they manifested, they unfolded with breathtaking perfection when you were simply present, when your heart was open, when you were not obsessively overthinking and micromanaging every single step of the journey. That, my beloved soul, is not a mere coincidence. That is the divine, intelligent rhythm of life, revealing its profound and beautiful magic to you when you are not trying to violently beat it into submission. The act of forcing things creates a deeply unnatural and painful pressure, a kind of cosmic, energetic friction between the essence of your soul and the fabric of reality. The more pressure you futilely apply, the more the very things you so deeply yearn for seem to inexplicably retreat and dissolve. Other people feel this pressure. Divine opportunities feel this pressure. Your very energetic field becomes tense, contracted, and deeply uninviting, like a room filled with jarring, uncomfortable static. It's like trying to catch a delicate, beautiful butterfly by frantically and clumsily chasing it through a vast open field. The more you desperately lunge and grasp, the more it gracefully and effortlessly flutters away. Its delicate, iridescent wings are naturally repelled by the chaotic turbulence of your overwhelming need. But when you have the wisdom to simply sit still, to become calm, to be fully grounded in the sanctuary of your own radiant, inner peace, it often, as if by a divine command, comes to land gently and trustingly upon your open and welcoming shoulder. This does not mean in any way that you stop taking purposeful action in your life. What it means is that your actions now arise from a place of profound, intuitive clarity and inner knowing, not from a place of blind, reactive panic. Your actions are now born from a deep, inner peace, not from a sense of external, desperate pressure. Because when your inner world is calm, serene, and deeply aligned with trust, your outer world, your physical reality, has no other choice but to begin reflecting that exquisite serenity. Things effortlessly line up. Elegant solutions appear as if from nowhere. Divinely orchestrated connections are made with ease. This happens not because you controlled them, but because you finally, courageously, and lovingly aligned with them. You do not need to fall to your knees and beg the universe to give you something that is already, by its very nature, on its way to you. You just need to consciously and consistently stop blocking its sacred path with the heavy, dense, and resistant energy of force. Letting it come to you isn't about becoming a passive bystander in your own life. It's about being divinely and brilliantly intelligent. It means understanding, on a soul level, that the gentle current of flow is infinitely faster and more powerful than the brute strength of force, that the open posture of allowing is exponentially more magnetic and powerful than the desperate energy of chasing. You were never, ever meant to exhaust your beautiful spirit just to receive what is already, by divine and sacred right, yours. You were meant to bravely let go of the distracting noise of the world and to trust with every fiber of your being that what is real and true for you will remain, and what is forced, false, and misaligned will gently and lovingly fall away. When you can finally learn to look at your life and your most cherished desires with soft, open, and receptive hands instead of hard, clenched, and demanding fists, things in your reality will begin to move again, with a grace and speed that will astound you. So, the very next time you feel that old, familiar, and compulsive urge to force a conversation, to manipulate a result, to rush a dream, or to cling to a person, I want you to make a sacred commitment to yourself to simply pause. Take a long, slow, deep breath, and then ask yourself this profoundly revealing and sacred question: am I chasing this because I truly feel, in my soul, that it is in divine alignment with my highest path? Or am I chasing it because I am secretly and deeply terrified that it won't happen on its own, that I am not worthy of receiving it with ease? If the energy of fear is the one driving your actions, please understand that you are not truly moving forward. You are just running in exhausting, painful circles trapped in a self-perpetuating cycle of your own unconscious creation. But when you allow the quiet, confident energy of trust to take the wheel of your life, that is the sacred moment when everything begins to flow faster, more joyfully, and more beautifully than you ever thought possible. One of the most potent and transformative spiritual shifts you can ever make in this lifetime is learning to be profoundly, deeply, and unconditionally okay without the very thing you think you desperately need to be happy. That is the precise moment you reclaim your sovereign power. That is the turning point when you consciously move from the low vibration of desperation to the high, magnetic frequency of alignment, from the cold, dark prison of fear to the warm, expansive freedom of unshakable faith. This faith is not a blind, naive hope, but a luminous, radiant, and unshakable inner knowing. It is a radical and courageous trust in the sacred, intelligent architecture of your life, a deep and abiding certainty that even the perceived detours, the frustrating delays, and the seeming dead ends are all divinely and perfectly orchestrated parts of your unique and beautiful path to spiritual awakening and soul-level fulfillment. When you are no longer desperately glued to a single, specific, and rigid outcome, when you are no longer trying to force another soul to see your inherent worth or frantically rush your own sacred success, when you finally stop trying to violently squeeze clarity out of a natural and necessary moment of confusion, that is the pivotal moment when your true, authentic, and divine power begins to rise from within the depths of your being. You become energetically lighter, spiritually freer, and profoundly quieter inside. And the entire world, the entire universe, notices this shift. You begin to walk differently, with a new sense of purpose and grace. You speak differently, with a quiet confidence that needs no validation. This happens because you are no longer trying to desperately get something from life. You are now, in your natural state, allowing life to lovingly and joyfully bring the right and perfect things to you. There is a calm, serene, and unshakable confidence that emanates from people who have mastered the art of letting go, who have stopped forcing their reality. You can feel it in their very energy. It is a palpable sense of peace and trust. It is not that they don't care about their lives or their dreams. It is that they trust on a level that transcends the ego's fear. They trust that if a door doesn't open, it was simply and lovingly never their door to begin with. They trust that if a person pulls away, it is a form of divine, cosmic protection, not a painful, personal rejection of their worth. They trust that what flows to them effortlessly and naturally is infinitely better and more aligned than anything they could have possibly manipulated, controlled, or forced into place. And that trust, that beautiful, radiant, serene trust, is profoundly magnetic. It is the very frequency of divine creation itself.